The hospital bills slipped from Brett and Scylla's trembling hands. $8,000. His daughter Emma needed surgery, and he had exactly $47 in his account. But that wasn't the part that destroyed him. It was the bank statement he found tucked behind it. His wife Rachel's secret account. The one with over $200,000 in it. Money he'd worked 3 jobs to earn over 5 years. Money that should have paid for Emma's medical care, their mortgage, their future. Instead, every single withdrawal had one destination: Henderson Luxury Estates. Breton stared at the address, his heart pounding. His wife wasn't just spending their money. She was building a completely different life without him. Before we continue with this story, I need your help. If you're enjoying this story so far, do me a quick favor. Kindly hit that subscribe button right now. Also, smash that like button. It takes 1 second, but it helps this video reach more people who love real, emotional stories like this one. And here's something I'm really curious about. Drop a comment right now telling me where you're watching from. I read every single one. Now, let's get back to the story because what Maurice discovers next will absolutely blow your mind. 5 years earlier, Brett and Scylla was a different man. He worked as a mid-level accountant at Preston Financial, earning a decent salary that supported his small family comfortably. His wife Rachel worked part-time at a salon, more for socializing than necessity. Their daughter Emma was healthy and happy. Life was simple but good. Then everything changed on a rainy Tuesday evening. Breton received the call at work. His younger brother Daniel had been in a terrible accident, brain injury. The insurance wouldn't cover everything. Someone needed to pay. Breton didn't hesitate. He took a loan against their house, $50,000 to save his brother's life. Rachel cried when he told her, "We can't afford this, Breton." "What about Emma's college fund? What about our savings?" "He's my brother," Breton said quietly. "I can't let him die." Daniel survived, but the medical bills kept coming. Physical therapy, medications, specialists. Breton took a second job doing weekend bookkeeping for small businesses, then a third job delivering food at night. Rachel stopped working at the salon. "I need to be home for Emma," she explained. "With you gone all the time, someone has to be the parent." Breton worked 16-hour days. He'd leave at 6 in the morning and return past midnight, sometimes catching only 4 hours of sleep. On Sundays, his only partial day off, he'd collapse on the couch, too exhausted to speak. "Daddy looks like a ghost," 8-year-old Emma told Rachel one evening. "Your father is doing what he has to do," Rachel replied, scrolling through her phone. What Breton didn't know was that Rachel had started following a lifestyle influencer named Victoria Mills online. Victoria posted photos of luxury homes, designer clothes, and exotic vacations. Her motto, "You deserve the life you dream of, not the life you settle for." Rachel became obsessed. She started a secret side business selling counterfeit designer bags online, telling Breton she was just helping friends shop. The money started trickling in, then flowing. But instead of helping with family expenses, Rachel had other plans. She opened the secret bank account. Every dollar Breton gave her for groceries, every check he handed over for Emma's school supplies, Rachel diverted a portion into her hidden account. Every sale from her illegal business went straight there. Her goal? Buy a luxury property and start her real life. Meanwhile, Breton worked himself to the bone. "Mr. Scylla, you look terrible," his manager at Preston Financial said one morning. "When's the last time you slept properly?" "I'm fine," Breton insisted, though dark circles shadowed his eyes and his hands shook from exhaustion. At home, Rachel redecorated constantly. New curtains, new furniture, new kitchen appliances. "I got them on sale," she'd say when Breton questioned the expenses. What Breton didn't see were the withdrawal slips. 500 here, 1,000 there. All marked household expenses when Breton reviewed their joint account. Emma noticed things her father didn't. "Mommy goes out a lot now," Emma mentioned one rare Sunday when Breton was home. "She says she's meeting her business partners." "That's good," Breton said tiredly. "Your mother is working hard too." But Emma's face showed doubt. "She always dresses really fancy, and she talks on the phone in her car so I can't hear." Breton patted her head absently, too exhausted to process the warning signs. One evening, Breton came home at 2 in the morning from his delivery job. He found Emma sitting alone in the living room, tears streaming down her face. "Sweetheart, what's wrong? Where's your mother?" "She went out with her friends," Emma sobbed. "She said she'd be back by bedtime, but she never came. I tried calling, but she didn't answer. My stomach hurts really bad, Daddy." Breton felt fury and fear collide in his chest. He checked his phone. 7 missed calls from Emma, 0 from Rachel. He made Emma soup and sat with her until she fell asleep, then called Rachel. It went to voicemail. Rachel stumbled in at 4 in the morning, smelling of expensive perfume. "Where were you?" Breton demanded, his voice low to avoid waking Emma. "I told Emma I was meeting clients," Rachel said, annoyed. "Why are you making a big deal?" "Our daughter was sick and scared. She couldn't reach you." "She's fine, isn't she? Stop being dramatic. You're never here anyway, so don't lecture me about parenting." The words hit Breton like a physical blow. He worked himself to exhaustion for this family, and his wife spoke to him like he was neglecting them. "I'm working 3 jobs to keep us afloat," Breton said quietly. "And whose fault is that?" Rachel shot back. "You chose to bankrupt us for your brother. Now we all suffer." Breton said nothing. There was no point arguing when Rachel had already made up her mind about who to blame. The next morning, Breton received another call that would change everything. His manager at Preston Financial wanted to see him. "Breton, I'm promoting you to senior accountant," his manager said. "40% raise, better benefits. You've earned it with your dedication." Breton felt tears prick his eyes. Finally, some good news. With this raise, he could quit one of his side jobs. He could spend more time with Emma. Maybe things would get better. He rushed home early to tell Rachel, stopping to buy flowers and Emma's favorite pizza. The house was empty. A note on the kitchen counter. "Gone shopping with friends. Emma is at my mother's house. Don't wait up." Breton sat alone with the pizza and flowers, his promotion news trapped inside him. That night, unable to sleep, Breton decided to check their finances. He wanted to see how much the raise would help. Maybe they could even start saving again. He logged into their joint account and froze. The balance was lower than it should be. Much lower. He checked the transaction history. Dozens of transfers marked household, going to an account he didn't recognize. His hands shook as he called the bank's customer service line. "Sir, those transfers are going to an account under Rachel Silla's name only," the representative explained. "It's a separate account from your joint one." "How much is in that account?" "I can't access those details, sir. You'd need to speak with the account holder." Breton ended the call, his mind racing. Rachel had a secret account. She'd been siphoning money while he worked himself to death. But how much? And for what? The next morning, while Rachel was out, Breton searched their home office. In a locked drawer he'd never noticed before, he found the key taped under Rachel's jewelry box. Inside the drawer, bank statements, property brochures, and a business card for Henderson Luxury Estates. The bank statements showed deposits and withdrawals going back 3 years. The current balance, $207,000. Breton sat on the floor, papers scattered around him, trying to comprehend what he was seeing. Over $200,000, money from his paychecks, money from his side jobs, money that should have gone to Emma's needs, their mortgage, their future, all sitting in Rachel's secret account. The property brochures showed luxury condos and townhouses, each costing between $300,000 and $500,000. Rachel had been circling properties, making notes about which ones had investment potential. A receipt fell from between the pages. Consultation fee paid to Henderson Luxury Estates, dated last week. Breton's phone rang. Emma's school. "Mr. Silla, Emma collapsed during gym class. We've called an ambulance. She's being taken to Memorial Hospital." The papers fell from Breton's hands as he ran to his car. At the hospital, doctors surrounded Emma's bed, running tests. Breton held her small hand while she drifted in and out of consciousness. "Daddy," she whispered, "am I going to be okay?" "Of course, sweetheart. The doctors will fix everything." A doctor pulled Breton aside. "Mr. Silla, Your daughter has a serious heart condition. We need to do surgery as soon as possible. Without it, she could experience heart failure. What kind of surgery? How much? Open heart surgery to repair a valve defect. The cost will be around $80,000. Does your insurance cover it? Breton felt the world tilt. His insurance had a high deductible. They'd be responsible for at least $40,000, maybe more. I'll figure it out, Breton said numbly. He called Rachel 7 times. Finally, she answered, annoyed. What, Breton? I'm in an important meeting. Emma's in the hospital. She needs heart surgery. Silence, then. How much? At least $40,000 out of pocket. More silence. We don't have that kind of money, Breton. You know that. We'll figure it out. Can you come to the hospital? I can't right now. I'll come tonight. She didn't come that night, or the next morning. Breton sat beside Emma's bed, his mind spinning. How could he get $40,000? Another loan would be impossible. They were already drowning in debt from Daniel's medical bills. That's when he remembered the bank statements. Rachel had over $200,000 sitting in that account. Breton waited until Emma fell asleep before leaving the hospital. His hands gripped the steering wheel so tight his knuckles turned white as he drove to Henderson Luxury Estates. The office gleamed with marble floors and crystal chandeliers. A receptionist with perfect makeup looked up. Can I help you? I need to speak with someone about my wife, Rachel Silla. She's been consulting with you about properties. The receptionist's smile widened. Oh yes, Mrs. Silla, one moment please. A tall man in an expensive suit emerged. Mr. Silla, I'm Derek Henderson. Your wife has been working with us for several months now. Working with you how? Derek gestured to his office. Inside, he pulled out a thick file with Rachel's name on it. Your wife is one of our most serious clients. She's made offers on 3 different properties over the past year. Each time she's needed just a bit more for the down payment, so she's been saving aggressively. Breton felt sick. What properties? Derek showed him luxury condos in the most expensive part of the city. Each one cost over $400,000. She told us she runs a successful import business, Derek continued. Said she wanted to invest in real estate as a retirement plan. Did she mention she has a family? A daughter? Derek's smile faltered. She said she was recently divorced, actually, starting fresh. The words hit Breton like bullets. Rachel had been planning to leave him. Maybe she already considered herself gone. Did she say when she planned to buy? She was hoping to close on a property within the next 6 months. She's about $60,000 short of her target down payment. $60,000. Just $20,000 more than Emma's surgery cost. Breton stood abruptly. Thank you for your time. He drove home, his mind churning with rage and betrayal. His daughter lay in a hospital bed needing life-saving surgery, while his wife hoarded money for a fantasy life that didn't include either of them. Rachel's car was in the driveway. Breton walked in to find her packing a suitcase. Going somewhere? He asked, his voice deadly calm. Rachel jumped. You scared me. I'm going to a business conference in Miami for a few days. Emma's in the hospital. I know, you said that, but I can't help her by sitting there staring at her. This conference is important for my business. Breton pulled out the bank statements and threw them on the bed. Rachel's face went pale. $207,000, Breton said quietly, while I worked 3 jobs, while our daughter needed things, while I slept 4 hours a night to keep our family afloat. That's my money, Rachel said, recovering her composure. I earned it. With money I gave you, money meant for our family. You gave me household money. What I did with it is my business. Breton stepped closer. Our daughter needs $40,000 for heart surgery. You have 5 times that amount sitting in your account. Rachel's jaw tightened. That money is for my future. Emma will be fine. Hospitals have payment plans. Your future? Breton felt something break inside him. What about Emma's future? What about our future? There is no our future, Breton. Don't you see? You're drowning. You're exhausted all the time. You're broke because you chose your brother over your own family. I refuse to drown with you. I chose to save my brother's life. And I'm choosing to save mine. Rachel shot back. I'm not going to grow old and poor because you made bad decisions. I deserve better. And Emma? What does she deserve? Rachel looked away. Emma will have whatever the system provides. That's not my fault. Breton stared at the woman he'd married 12 years ago. The woman who'd once cried at movies and baked cookies with Emma on Sundays. She was gone, replaced by someone he didn't recognize. I'm not giving you that money, Breton, Rachel said firmly. You can't make me. It's in my name only. I'm not asking any more, Breton replied quietly. He pulled out his phone and dialed a number. What are you doing? Rachel demanded. Calling my lawyer. If you won't help our daughter voluntarily, I'll take you to court for it. Rachel laughed bitterly. That will take months. Emma needs surgery now. By the time you get a court order, it'll be too late. She was right, and they both knew it. Breton ended the call. You're really going to let our daughter suffer because you want a fancy condo? I'm not letting her suffer. You're the one who can't provide for her. That's on you. Rachel zipped her suitcase. I'm going to Miami. When I get back, we'll discuss divorce terms. You can have the house and all the debt. I'll take my business and my savings. She walked past Breton toward the door. If Emma dies, Breton said quietly, you'll have to live with that for the rest of your life. Rachel paused at the door but didn't turn around. Emma won't die. Stop being dramatic. The door closed behind her. Breton collapsed on the couch, his head in his hands. He had no options, no money, no way to save his daughter. His phone rang. Daniel, his brother. Hey man, just calling to check in. How's everything? Breton couldn't hold it back anymore. Everything poured out. Emma's condition, Rachel's betrayal, the money, all of it. Daniel was silent for a long moment. Breton, I'm so sorry. This is partly my fault. No, it's not. I chose to help you. And you sacrificed everything for me. Let me help now. I can't give you 40,000, but I've got about 15,000 saved. It's yours. Daniel, I can't. Yes, you can. You saved my life, big brother. Let me help save Emma's. Tears rolled down Breton's face. Thank you. I'm also going to call everyone we know. Family, friends, everyone. We'll start a fundraiser. People love Emma. They'll help. After hanging up, Breton returned to the hospital. Emma was awake, looking small and scared in the big hospital bed. Where's Mommy? She asked. Breton forced a smile. She had to work, sweetheart, but Uncle Daniel is coming to see you tomorrow. Daddy, am I going to die? No, baby. I promise you, I'm going to fix this. He spent the night in a chair beside her bed, researching every option. Medical loans, charity foundations, payment plans. By morning, he'd found a possible path forward. Daniel and his wife arrived at noon with news. We've started a GoFundMe, already raised $8,000 from friends and family. More people came throughout the day. Breton's co-workers from all three jobs, Emma's teachers, neighbors, people Breton barely knew, all wanting to help. By evening, they'd raised $23,000. Breton's manager from Preston Financial pulled him aside. The company has a medical emergency fund for employees. I submitted Emma's case. They approved $15,000. Daniel's GoFundMe kept climbing. Strangers from around the country donated, moved by Emma's story. 3 days later, they had the full $40,000 needed for surgery. Emma's surgery was scheduled for the following Monday. Breton sat with her the night before, holding her hand. I'm scared, Daddy. I know, sweetheart, but the doctors are the best, and I'll be right here when you wake up. Will Mommy be here? Breton hesitated. Rachel hadn't called once since leaving for Miami. I don't know, baby. It's okay, Emma said quietly. I know Mommy doesn't want to be here. The innocence in her voice broke something in Breton's heart. His daughter already understood her mother had abandoned her. The surgery took 6 hours. Breton paced the waiting room, surrounded by Daniel, his parents, and friends who'd become family. When the surgeon finally emerged, Breton stood on shaking legs. The surgery was successful, the doctor said. Emma will need to stay in ICU for a few days, but she's going to be fine. Breton broke down, sobbing with relief. Daniel hugged him while their mother whispered prayers of thanksgiving. Emma recovered, slowly but steadily. Within a week, she was sitting up and laughing at cartoons. Within 2 weeks, she was coming home. Rachel never came to the hospital. Not during the surgery, not during recovery, not once. She did, however, send divorce papers. Breton signed them without argument. He didn't want to fight anymore. He just wanted Rachel out of their lives. But he didn't forget about the money. With help from his lawyer, Breton filed a motion requesting financial discovery during divorce proceedings. Rachel would have to disclose all assets, including her secret account. The lawyer also reported Rachel's counterfeit designer bag business to federal authorities. 2 months after Emma came home, federal agents raided Rachel's storage unit where she kept her inventory. Every bag was counterfeit. Every sale was illegal. Rachel was arrested for trafficking counterfeit goods and tax evasion. At her arraignment, she saw Breton sitting in the back of the courtroom. "You did this," she hissed. "No," Breton replied calmly. "You did this to yourself." The judge denied bail, citing flight risk. Rachel's secret bank account was frozen pending investigation. In the divorce settlement, the judge was merciless. After learning how Rachel had hoarded money while her daughter needed surgery, the judge awarded Breton full custody of Emma and ordered Rachel to pay 75% of her frozen assets toward Emma's future medical expenses and Breton's legal fees. The remaining 25% would go to restitution for her victims in the counterfeit scheme. Rachel's luxury condo dreams evaporated. She was sentenced to 18 months in federal prison. But the story doesn't end there. 1 year later, Breton's life looked completely different. With his promotion and only one job now, he actually had time to be a father. Emma thrived, her heart healthy and her smile constant. They'd moved to a smaller apartment that Breton could afford comfortably. No mansion, no luxury, but it was filled with love and laughter. Emma sat at the kitchen table doing homework while Breton cooked dinner, something that rarely happened during his 3 job days. "Daddy, can I ask you something?" Emma said, putting down her pencil. "Of course, sweetheart. Do you think Mommy ever loved us?" Breton turned off the stove and sat beside her. "I think your mother loved the idea of us, but somewhere along the way, she forgot that love means sacrifice. It means putting others first sometimes. Like how you worked all those jobs for Uncle Daniel and for us?" "Yes, exactly like that." Emma nodded thoughtfully. "I'm glad she's gone, Daddy. Is that bad?" "No, honey, it's honest. And sometimes honest is the best we can be." That weekend, they visited Daniel, who'd fully recovered and was now working as a physical therapist, helping others with brain injuries. "Emma, you've gotten so tall," Daniel exclaimed, hugging his niece. Over lunch, Daniel turned to Breton. "I heard Rachel's being released next month." "I know. Her lawyer sent notice." "Are you worried?" Breton shook his head. "The restraining order is solid. She can't contact us. And honestly, I don't think she'll try. Rachel only cares about Rachel." But Breton was wrong. 3 weeks after her release, Rachel appeared at Emma's school. The principal called Breton immediately. "Mr. Silla, your ex-wife is here trying to pick up Emma. Security has detained her per the restraining order, but you need to come, now." Breton arrived to find Rachel arguing with security guards. "That's my daughter. You can't keep me from my own child." "Ma'am, there's a court order," the security guard explained patiently. Rachel spotted Breton. "Tell them, Breton. Tell them I can see Emma." "The restraining order says you can't be within 500 feet of Emma or me," Breton said calmly. "You're violating it right now." "I just want to see my daughter. I've been in prison for a year." "You chose prison when you chose counterfeit goods and tax evasion. You chose to abandon Emma when she needed you most." Rachel's eyes filled with tears. "I made mistakes, but I'm her mother." "Biology doesn't make you a mother," Breton replied. "Love does. Sacrifice does. Being there when it matters does." A police car pulled into the parking lot. The officer recognized the situation immediately. "Ma'am, you need to come with me. You're violating a restraining order." As Rachel was led away, she turned back. "I'll appeal the custody ruling. I'll get my daughter back." "No," Breton said firmly. "You won't. because Emma doesn't want you back. It was true. Emma had made it clear to the court-appointed therapist that she wanted no relationship with her mother. That evening, Breton sat Emma down to explain what happened. "Mommy came to school today, didn't she?" Emma said before Breton could speak. "How did you know?" "Sarah from my class saw her. She said Mommy looked sad." Breton waited, letting Emma process. "I don't want to see her, Daddy." "You don't have to, sweetheart. Not until you're ready. Maybe never if that's what you choose." "Do you think she's really sorry?" Breton considered this carefully. "I think she's sorry she got caught. I think she's sorry she lost everything. But I don't think she understands the real damage she caused." Emma nodded. "The therapist says Mommy is a narcissist. That means she only thinks about herself." "That's right. Will I be like her when I grow up?" "No, baby. Because you already know how to love others more than yourself. You learned that from watching What Not to Do." 3 months later, Breton received an unexpected visitor at work. A well-dressed woman in her 50s introduced herself as Margaret Henderson, Derek Henderson's mother, and the real owner of Henderson Luxury Estates. "Mr. Silla, I've been wanting to meet you. My son told me what your ex-wife did, and I've been following your story." Breton was confused. "Why?" "Because I did something similar to your wife 30 years ago. I hoarded money, planned a secret life, and nearly destroyed my family before I came to my senses." She handed Breton an envelope. "This is a check for $40,000, the exact amount you needed for Emma's surgery, the amount your wife had but wouldn't give." "Mrs. Henderson, I can't accept this." "Yes, you can. Consider it my apology to you and Emma for every family my business has unknowingly helped tear apart. My son showed me the properties your wife was viewing. They were all luxury units meant for single professionals. I should have questioned why a married woman with a child wanted them." Breton stared at the check, overwhelmed. "Use it for Emma's college fund," Margaret continued, "or for therapy bills, or for whatever your family needs. Just promise me you'll use it to build something good." "I promise," Breton said, his voice thick with emotion. Margaret smiled. "My son is also changing our business practices. We now require full family financial disclosure for all property purchases. If one spouse is hiding assets from another, we refuse to work with them." After she left, Breton sat in his office holding the check. $40,000. Not blood money or stolen money, but a gift from someone who understood regret. He deposited it directly into a college fund for Emma. 6 months passed. Rachel completed her probation and disappeared from their lives entirely. Breton heard through mutual friends that she'd moved to another state and was working retail, all her grand dreams reduced to hourly wages. He felt no satisfaction in her downfall, only relief that Emma was protected from her influence. On Emma's 11th birthday, they threw a small party with close friends and family. Daniel gave an emotional speech about how Emma had saved his life by forcing Breton to realize who really mattered. "Your daddy gave up everything for me when I was hurt," Daniel told Emma, "and you gave up your mom's love to stand up for what's right. You're the bravest person I know." Emma blushed but smiled wide. That night, as Breton tucked Emma into bed, she said something that made everything worthwhile. "Daddy, my teacher asked us to write about our hero. Can I write about you?" "You think I'm a hero?" "Of course. You worked 3 jobs so Uncle Daniel could live. You figured out how to pay for my surgery even when you had no money. You protect me and love me and make me laugh. That's what heroes do." Breton kissed her forehead, his eyes wet. "You can write about me, but one day you'll be someone else's hero." "Like you and Uncle Daniel?" "Exactly like that." 2 years after the divorce, Breton met someone new. Lisa was a pediatric nurse who'd cared for Emma during her hospital stay. They'd reconnected by chance at a coffee shop, and their friendship gradually became something more. Emma adored her. "Lisa makes you smile again, Daddy." "She makes me happy," Breton admitted. "Like how Mommy used to, before she got mean?" "No," Breton said thoughtfully. "Better, because Lisa's happiness comes from giving, not taking." When Breton and Lisa got engaged, Emma was their flower girl. Daniel was best man. The wedding was small but joyful, filled with people who'd supported them through the darkest times. During his vows, Breton looked at both Lisa and Emma. I learned that family isn't always blood. It's the people who show up, who sacrifice, who stay when things get hard. Lisa smiled through tears. Emma held her hand. 3 years after that hospital visit that changed everything, Emma's doctor cleared her for full activities. No restrictions. Normal life. Your daughter, the doctor told Breton, is one of the lucky ones. With the severity of her original condition, she shouldn't have survived this long without surgery. You saved her life by fighting for her. That evening, Breton took Emma to their favorite spot, a small park where they'd spent many evenings during her recovery. "Daddy, can I tell you something?" Emma asked, now 14 and growing into a remarkable young woman. "Always. I'm glad Mommy left." Breton looked at her in surprise. "I mean, I'm sad she doesn't love us," Emma continued. "But if she'd stayed, I wouldn't have learned about real love. I wouldn't have seen you work so hard. I wouldn't have Uncle Daniel and his family, or Lisa, or all the people who helped us. Mommy leaving showed me who really cared." Breton hugged his daughter. "You're wise beyond your years." "I learned from the best," she replied, hugging him back. A month later, Breton received a letter. No return address, but he recognized Rachel's handwriting. "Breton, I know I have no right to contact you, but I need you to know that I see it now. What I did, what I threw away. I spent 5 years in therapy, mandatory at first, then voluntary. I was diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. That's not an excuse, just an explanation. I thought money would make me happy. That luxury would fill the emptiness. I was wrong. I lost everything that mattered. My daughter, my family, my dignity. I have nothing now except the understanding that I destroyed the best things in my life for fantasy. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I'm not asking to see Emma. She deserves better than me. I'm just asking you to tell her, someday when she's older, that her mother finally understood. That her mother's greatest regret isn't prison or poverty. It's failing to love the two of you when I had the chance." Rachel Breton read the letter 3 times, then filed it away. Maybe someday he'd show it to Emma. Maybe not. The truth was, Rachel's redemption or regret didn't matter anymore. What mattered was the family they'd built from the ashes of her betrayal. 10 years after Emma's surgery, Breton stood in a university auditorium, watching his daughter graduate with honors. She'd received a full scholarship and studied social work, wanting to help families in crisis. "I want to be like Uncle Daniel," she'd explained when choosing her major. "I want to help people who are suffering." At the graduation party, Emma gave a speech thanking everyone who'd supported her journey. When she got to Breton, her voice broke. "My dad taught me that real wealth isn't money. It's integrity, sacrifice, and love. He worked himself to exhaustion to save his brother's life and mine. He showed me that the measure of a person is what they do when no one's watching, and nothing's in it for them." She looked directly at Breton. "Daddy, you're my hero. Everything good in me came from watching you choose love over ease, family over comfort, and truth over lies." The room erupted in applause. Breton wiped his eyes, overwhelmed with pride. That night, driving home with Lisa, Breton reflected on the journey. Rachel's betrayal had nearly destroyed them, but in its wake, they'd built something stronger than before. Emma grew into a compassionate social worker who helped dozens of families avoid the pitfalls that had nearly destroyed hers. Daniel remained Breton's best friend, their bonds strengthened by shared trauma and survival. Lisa became not just a wife, but a true partner who understood that family meant showing up, especially when it was hard. And Breton learned that sometimes the worst betrayals lead to the most important revelations about who we are and who we want to become. Years later, when Emma had children of her own, she asked Breton, "Do you ever regret what happened with Mom?" "I regret that you were hurt," Breton answered honestly, "but I don't regret the journey. Your mother's betrayal taught me to value the right things. It showed me who my real family was, and it led me to Lisa." Emma nodded. "Do you think Mom's happy now?" "I hope so, not for her sake, but for the sake of her soul." "That's very kind of you, Daddy." Breton smiled. Your mother taught me one final lesson, that bitterness only poisons the person carrying it. I chose to let go. And in letting go, Brett and Scylla finally found peace. So what did you take away from this story? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story touched your heart, make sure you've subscribed to this channel and hit that notification bell. We bring you real stories about real people every single week. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Thanks for watching, and remember, family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's the people who show up when it matters most. God bless you all.